What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here for another month of the OCG recap. So, ultimately, the OCG meta has become pretty stale. Again, given that they're due for a ban list at the end of the month, that was, always gonna happen. It's been pretty well, determined that Brigade is just the best deck of their format at the moment. Honestly, Brigade, I believe, is probably the best deck of our format. It's just a case of, having the right players playing it and everyone kind of coming together and coming to that consensus, I guess. The interesting part is, though, in the OCG, they don't play, the barrier statue side of things. They play much more of, a control build. Ultimately, yeah, you can see on the screen right now, this is a first place list from an OCG event, and this is the deck that starts us off. I do believe, though, we will have Brigade today, we'll have Extra Link Code Talker, and then the other one is a surprise even to me, because I can't remember it right now, but we'll get to it as we go. I'm sure it's in the description, it's in the title, it was on the thumbnail, you clicked it, that's what we're going to have for you. But as always, before we do get started, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we're always happy to have new people to the channel. And let's get on into these profiles. So starting us off, of course, we do have the Brigade list. So starting us off is 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 1 Effect Veiler, and 3 Maxi. Then we have 3 Fractal, 2 Crassus, 3 Kit, and 3 Nerval. This is a zoo list, of course, so we're playing 1 Ram, 1 Rat, 1 Whip. For the spells, we've got the 2 Cold Buy, 2 Crossout, 3 Tenki, a Duster, 1 Mystic Mine, because this person is good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Then 3 Pot of Desires into Talents, and 1 Barrage rounds out the spells, of course. Then for the traps, we've got the 3 Imperm and 2 Brigade Revolt to really take advantage of that Link 4. For the extra deck, this is again, a zoo list, so we've got the 1 copy of AA Zeus, 1 Borbo, Charcanine, Dryden, and Tiger Mortar. Then for our links, for the big ones, we've got Access Code and an Appaloosa here, followed up with the Ancient Warrior Link 2 and an Eagle. Then we have 1 Almirage, and then only 1 of the new ones, so 1 copy of Bear Bloom. This is the reason why I decided to go with this list, is because we're about to receive Bear Bloom for us, and we'll be able to play more of these OCG style lists. Will be interesting as to whether or not people look to go towards playing stuff like that, and having this kind of a style build, or they would go towards still playing the barrier statue, but just having Bear Bloom to get them access to Revolt so they can get a send on the opponent's turn as well. Of course, given that the Link 4 is not a wind, that could be a little bit difficult for them to do, so I do believe you might come to that realization where you'll either be the kind of version that sets up the bird and the barrier statue, or you'll come with these versions that have Revolt and then they just link and send to give them the extra disruption. They probably end on an Appaloosa and the Ancient Warrior Oath after that. For the extra deck, though, actually, we'll probably go through the rest of the extra deck, yeah. So we do have, of course, 1 copy of Frigite, 1 of the Link 3, the Silver Sheller, and then we've got 2 of the Link 4 after that. Then for the side, 3 Lancia, 1 Pank, 2 Nibiru, 3 Gamma, and a Driver. This actually came up a lot this month. When I was going through lists, a whole lot of them seem to be this exact ratio here. After that, though, we do have the 2 copies of Lightning Storm, 1 Fragrance, and 1 Anti-Spell, 1 Imperial Order, and 1 Red Reboot rounds out this list. And we have a subscriber. Welcome. Okay, so the second list that we have is, of course, Dragunity. Dragunity over in the OCG doesn't do, a whole much more difference than what it has here. It does have the 1 copy of, it's Samsara Dragon, which essentially just lets them, add back resources and then tribute summon the resources, so you can get access to, the armors, and then kind of go from there. But overall, the list isn't that much different to what you would be playing here. To, make that point clear, the guy who was playing this was actually playing, pretty much all TCG copies of these cards, except for, I think, he was playing, OCG Starlight Droplets. Of course, the Samsara was still OCG, but I think it was, anything that was higher rarity in the OCG he was still playing. Otherwise, he was just playing, TCG, and I was like, this is quite interesting. But for his list, we have, of course, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 1 copy of Zephyros the Elite, and the 1 copy of Buster Whelp, because fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Then we have the 1 copy of Leviathan, 1 copy of long name that starts with M. I can never remember how to say this one. Then we have, of course, the Course, 2 Ducks, 1 Legatus, 2 Phalanx, 1 Primus Pilus, and 3 Remus to round out our Dragunity monsters. Then we have 2 Maxi, of course, for more hand traps, 1 copy of Darkness Metal. Weirdly, let's bring this up. So on Dueling Book, if you go for Darkness Metal Dragon in the OCG, these are the same card. Yeah, this is at 1 and this is at 3. So ignore the fact this is at 1. In the OCG, this is at 3. It's just the super hard once per turn for everything. Then we've got, of course, after this, with the spells, it is 2 copies of Called by the Grave, and 2 copies of Crossout Designator, 3 Dragon's Ravine, 1 Dragunity Glow, 3 Dragunity Whirlwind, 1 Duster, of course the 1 Mystic Mine, because fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Another subscriber joins the channel. This is actually, we've had a few subscribers come through today, so thank you for joining and subscribing in the middle of me recording this video. Then after this, we have 3 Prosperity, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Impermanence, rounds out the main deck. For the extra deck, we of course have 1 copy of Black Rose Dragon. He was playing this just because it was Ghost, I'm almost sure. Like, yes, it is a board wipe, but this was just the Ghost rare that he just had there. This is a Pros build, so he probably banishes it, but yeah, we do have 1 Ghost rare Black Rose, I should probably bring that up. Then we have the 1 copy of Savage. Oh boy, these are always hard names to say. We have the 1 copy of Dragunity Knight, a Reed Bear. Then we have Axgalon, 1 copy of Barker, 1 Gay Durg, and then the Vajrayana? Why are they going to be so hard to say? Then for the Xyz, we have 1 copy of the Hieratic Dragon, King Atum. Then we have 1 Boral Sword to push through big damage, 1 Remus, and 1 Pisty. There's no LP, LP's banned. So now we see 2 copies of Phratic Seal, 1 Striker, and the 1 copy of Protector Whelp, Destruction Swordsman. Then for the side deck, we of course have that same ratio again. We have 3 Lancia. I think he swapped a Lancia for a Nib. That's the only difference. 3 Lancia, 1 Pank, 1 Nib, 3 Gamma, and 1 Driver. Then for the spells, we've got 2 Droplets, a Lightning Storm, 2 Twister, and 1 Red Reboot. Okay, last off, we have, of course, the Code Talker Extra Link deck. So, I think Josh is trying to put this together. So when he does eventually get it together, we'll definitely pop it up on the channel and really show it off. I think the big difference is he's going to be playing something like the Salamangreat Balinks, so he's going to be playing that, so we can end on that as like his link 1 that points down. But through the link on this one, yes, it's got a lot of links, through the deck on this one, it was actually pretty hard to come up with, because this was a pretty potato quality photo. So we have 1 copy of Link Apple to start us off. This one's actually quite interesting, because it reveals the face down card that you send. So you can reveal this card in your hand, banish 1 random face down card from your extra deck. Then, if it's a Link monster, special summon it. So I'd assume you banish a random card, then flip it face up, check what it is, and then flip it back face down. And then otherwise, you discard this card if you do draw 1 card. So it's effectively just a free summon or a cycle. Then we have 1 copy of D-Grade Buster, along with the 1 Gutchy Ignista. 2 copies of Parallel Exceed after that. You don't really need 3, because you're only going to be able to use it once. And we got 1 backup Secretary. For the 2 Math Mechs, we have Multiplication and Addition. 1 copy of Dotscaper follows that up with 2 Sidebest Gadget. 3 copies of Lady Debug next with the Code Radiator, 3 Code Generator, and 3 Microcoder after that. Then for our hand traps, we've got 2 Maxi, 3 Ash, 2 Ghost Spell, and a Ghost Ogre. For our spells, we've got 1 copy of Codec and 1 Mining, 1 Cosmic, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 Duster, 2 Crossout Designator, and 2 Called by the Grave. For the traps, 1 copy of Cynet Conflict, 1 Solemn Strike, 2 Solemn Strike, and 2 Impermanence rounds out the main deck. For the extra, we have the 1 copy of Almirage, 1 Link Spider, 1 Lingaribo, we got the 1 Update Jammer to give us the double attack, we've got 2 copies of Splash Mage for the lots of adds back, 1 Code Talker Inverted to fill that middle column, and a Code Talker, 2 copies of Heat Soul, 2 copies of Transcode Talker, and 2 copies of Access Code Talker. These are the most important ones, along with the Splash Mage, so you're playing them at 2, so your Link Apple doesn't like ruin your day. And then 1 Firewall comes after that. I'm curious that he's not playing something like, I think it's Xcode Talker, the one that like points up and blocks a zone. I kind of figured that would be something he's playing in this if there is like the opportunity to be extra linking your opponent. Because I kind of figured that you're always going to be giving your opponent a zone here. So maybe there's like a different play to it. So we quickly fix up this this side deck. Yeah, I don't feel this is gonna like fully lock your opponent. It's always going to give them like something to mess around with. Whether or not you can have like a follow-up to disrupt that or not. I'd probably maybe consider like switching the Almirage for a Balinks. I'm sure that was probably a thing. When you think about it, like it probably should have been an Almirage, like a Balinks instead of an Almirage, unless there's like some kind of other interaction that he's looking for. For the side deck though, we do have 1 copy of Nibiru, 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird, and 2 Lancia with the 1 Maxi, 2 copies of Lightning Storm next, and then 3 copies of Heatwave. I guess he just like sides in the Heatwave, and if he sees it when he's going first, he just activates it. His opponent basically has to skip their next turn, then just goes full OTK with the Cyburst. It's actually a pretty cute tech. Then we've got 2 copies of Mind Control, 1 Imperial Order, and 1 Red Reboot, round out this deck. But that wraps up here for this month's episode of OCG Recap. So as always, if you do have any decks that you want to see from the OCG, comment them down below. I'll do my best to try and find them. We do only go with like decks that have like topped an event, so if you're looking for something super rogue, it's probably not going to be a possibility most of the time. Hopefully with the new ban list as well next month, we'll see a bit of a jazz up in the format. I know normally once the ban list announced for them, people kind of like apply the ban list immediately, even though it doesn't come into effect till the end of the month. They just kind of just play as if it's going to be the future Yu-Gi-Oh format anyway. But of course, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.